today we have a very special and an honorable guest with us, Professor Pinaknath Jha, sir, in our wonderful series of thoughtful leaders. Dr. Jha is currently the director of SMS Varanasi and has management teaching experience of 35 years and 19 years of experience as director of AICT approved management institutes. He was selected as one among 100 most influential directors of India by World Education Congress. He was also awarded B School Leadership Award at 16th Business School of Fair. We welcome you, sir, in our series and are very keen to know your thoughts and visions for the students to bridge the gap between them and higher management of institute. First of all, I would like to know you have held key positions at education institutes throughout your professional career. What are the key factors that you keep connected with the education sector?
Well, Mr. Mustafa, first of all, let me extend my thankfulness to your portal, collegedunia.com, for giving me this opportunity to get linked with the world of education through you and to share some of my feelings with the audience. So let me extend my warm greetings to all the members of the audience and my gratefulness once again to your portal. You have asked a very sensitive question that why I took up this profession, education profession. Actually, the family which I belong to, that is a family of educationists. Excepting my father, everybody has been a teacher over there. So from my very childhood, I imbibed their trades, their profession, and I think it was a kind of lineage trait which I inherited. That's why even after doing my MBA, which is highly professional program, and during 80s I did my MBA. At that time, joining corporate sector was a highly luxury regarding. But even at that time, I became inclined to join teaching only, and straightway I joined as a lecturer in one of the oldest management institutions based at Darbhanga, Institute of Business Management. And that was the beginning of my career. And since then, I have been dwelling in this same profession because I consider that this teaching profession is highly gentlemanly, is highly caring, and very, very noble. This is the basic reason behind joining this profession.
That's wonderful, sir. That's wonderful. Being the director of SMS Varanasi, what is your philosophy of leadership and how would you describe your leadership style?
You see, that is very simple. Although we have studied so many leadership styles, but you know that every leader has to design a unique way of his or her leadership style. In educational institutions especially, the imbibement and the empowerment for the teacher is what? That they should have needful autonomy and ambience where they could enhance their teaching, learning and research activities. They could write papers, they could take up project works, they could take up consultancy works, and at the same time, they also have manageable pressure of work. So this, I have kept this on the top of my priority, that they should be given this kind of ambience where they could do according to their own agenda because they are having the same profession. So that's why taking all of them in confidence, I have taken up the responsibilities of the administration work also, of the academics also. And I have been quite successful also because SMS Varanasi, here I am in now 16th years of my service as the director, and there several important milestones have been traversed by this institution, and that is simply by virtue of the tested ebullience of the team of the faculty members and staff. So they have a kind of loyalty towards me. And I believe that if the leader is certainly capable in the eyes and mind of the followers by virtue of either his merit, his talent, his result, his performance, his speech, so then nothing more is required to get the loyalty, and the leadership is established and it is well honored by all the followers. So this is basically my style, and on this very style I have been dwelling upon.
Exactly, sir. That's the. So, being the director of SMS Varanasi, how do you strategize about the key programs and plans for the marketing and administration of your institute?
You see, marketing is one thing, marketing of the programs is one thing, marketing of the business is one thing, right? So, marketing of the business, we have got a separate wing here, full-fledged wing for our admission purposes, for the faculty recruitment purposes, everything. But so far as the making strategy, that is the translation of my vision, of the institution's vision, into the actions, into the missions and the activities, that is very important for the leader. You know, when I joined this institution during 2005, and I got the baton of this growing young institution, which was highly ambitious at the time and also having capability. Because this institution from the very beginning was unique in one way, that in the very underpinnings of its foundation, the value system of the ancient Indian wisdom coupled with spirituality was in the root of this institution. So the work ahead was basically that how to provide it more and more embellishment and to bring it more and more public so that the world could understand that how SMS Varanasi has been committed to bring this Oriental wisdom portion in the mainstream management literature of the world. And this was a part of my strategy that through the international conferences, through international publications and other programs, I made the world understand that what SMS has been doing. And you know, this activity had started quite earlier than the advent of the global financial crisis in 2008-9. Because after that, the spirituality, the leadership, the value system has been accepted and worked upon by a large number of management institutions. But this SMS was one in this entire area which has pioneered in this field, and still today, this is the USP of our institution. We have been working hard on this. We have got a separate CC, Center for Spiritualism and Human Enrichment, started as early as 2003 only, and it was inaugurated by the then Honorable Governor of Uttar Pradesh, Acharya Vishnukant Sastri ji. You might have heard the name. So this center is unique for the institution, and it has given a very significant aplomb to this institution, a very important wedge. So basically, this is the issue which I have been trying to develop.
Yes, sir. Sir, how does the curriculum of SMS Varanasi ensure the best practice of industry?
You see, so far as the curriculum designing is concerned, you know, almost all of our courses are affiliated courses by some university. Either the AKTU, Lucknow, or Mahatma Gandhi Kashi Vidyapit Varanasi. So basic curriculum they provide. There we can't do anything, excepting that we can send certain suggestions. Whether they incorporate it or not, it is upon them. But then, apart from the core curricular portion, there is certain extra and core curricular aspects also. So there we used to imbibe those best practices which are more and more relevant and pertinent in the corridor sector, and those we get through our relationship, our interaction with the corporate people, because we have got a very healthy relationship with the organizations. That's why we also have a very robust track of the campus placements. So those persons, they provide us that what is the current practice in the corporate sector, and that through their lectures, through the co-curricular activities, extracurricular activities, we used to provide to our students. In this way, the main curriculum is also added and strengthened, and the purpose is solved.
Sure. Sir, any insights into how the institute could be more welcoming to students of different races or economic backgrounds?
You see, so far as different economic backgrounds are concerned or different races are concerned, this trait is very important, and it is a very significant criteria also in our accreditation policies. Even the NAAC or NBA, they are trying to make it an important point that what is the extent of plurality of the students. So this makes and brings certain value for the institution, that what is the extent of plurality, what kind of students are coming to it. So far as the economic platform is concerned, you know, SMS Varanasi is having a very arrogantly beautiful campus, green, lush campus. We are fully independent on the power system. We have our solar power plant as early as 2013 only. So the students used to be the toppers and the best among the top 10 students of the university. So this is the standard of the teaching and learning over here. So naturally, it is a very important factor which attracts. At the same time, if you provide one of the best learning experience, and that is really perceived by the students, so then they would automatically come to you, because nowadays you are a very important platform, this collegedunia.com. It is a very highly, sought after platform today for the students, for the guardian to search the best college, best courses, etc. Sure. So you have got the collection of all the pertinent information. You see, if you see our faculty profile, most of the faculty members, they are having experience of nearly 15 years. They are almost all PhDs. So in all the pertinent areas, we have got experts. We used to provide teaching through experts only. Other MBNs are quite up to mark, and whatever latest infrastructure is possible, that we have been providing. I think that these are the enough factors and important factors which can attract the students. So far as fee structure is concerned, that is also highly compatible, because with the same set of infrastructure and academic infrastructure, the institutions in NCR or other areas of the country, they are charging a fee structure which is double them. Right?
Yes, sir.
So this way, I think the ambience is quite attractive, and the students should not have any hesitation in joining us.
True, sir. So that's your right, sir. Keeping the experienced faculties will definitely, improve the quality of the students from your institute. So, yes. Coming to the next question, sir. What do you think your roles and responsibilities to the institute and the students are?
You know, roles and responsibilities, they are just common. What every director has to do the same routine work. But you see, once you establish yourself, once you establish, your image among the faculty, staff, and students also, because every student has to remain here at least for 2 years. Mm-hmm. And in 2 years, I have got a number of interactions with them. which just begins with your orientation. So anybody speaking and anybody listening, a kind of dialectic relationship is established. And if on that relationship you are really heavy, which is the perception of the students, you will attract their honor and command. So that is, you see, the main root of my guiding, whether teachers or faculty or the students.
True, sir.
This is the basic thing.
True, sir. True.
Other activities are common.
Sir, what do you think should be the institute's top priority over the next 10 years?
You see, next year time, it is very difficult and it is very premature, I think, to tell you the decision and priority of the institution. Because now you see, you might have heard that the national education policy is to come. The entire scenario will be changed. We shall have to strategize accordingly. So right now, it would be just very, very premature to divulge entire program right now. Okay, please let us wait for some time.
Sure, sir. Sir, when you first came to SMS Varanasi, what was your vision for the institute? And has it evolved over time, and how far along in implementing that vision are you?
You see, I came earlier also, I was a director at Punjab in a similar institution. I remained there 5 years. In 2005, I came here. At that time, the rating of the institution, the ranking of the institution was a major issue because this rating was marketed. It was a marketing variable at that time. And at that time, our institution was having A+ grade. At that time, we had the Business India, which was one of the foremost agency doing these jobs. So Business India was rating us with A+ grade. So my first aim was that how to improve this grading, because only through this stair we could come upper and upper. So I had to make the programs, I had to implement them. I started publishing the journals. At that time, only one journal was there without ISSN number. First, I managed to get the ISSN number for that journal, Business Management Insight. Then gradually I started 3 more journals. You know, today our one journal, Pursartha, it is Scopus indexed. And then the PhD among the students, among the faculties. So this PhD program, it was made a kind of compulsory. And I persuaded all the faculty members. I decided to provide them incentive. And with the personal, you see, a kind of, what you say, that a friendly attitude, or you see a guidance, a kind of just my gesture. They adopted this idea and they started doing this PhD program. So within 3-4 years, a majority of the faculty members, they got PhD degrees. So this type of activities and progress gave us very strong depth. And this was the reason that in the next 4-5 years, from A+, we became A++. Then after 2 years again, we became A++. And then finally, after I think 7-8 years, we came under top 50 Bs. So this was my first priority.
Okay.
Because in the eyes of the market, the students, the guardians, the SMS should have its own standing and position.
True, sir. Sir, although I have a query, I have a question related to that as well. As you mentioned, the Business India agency, which ranks you like, which was not ranking you on top 100 business institutes and all these things. Sir, that was a like at that time I think offline things are more dominant. So, do you believe that in such era where everything is going digital, do you believe that it is still affecting the students, and are they really checking the ranking of Career 360 and Business Today, Outlook? There are many agencies who are giving the ranks to the institutes. So, do you think that students are looking those ranks, and instead of just checking the there are many agencies who are ranking institutes on online platforms like us. We are also ranking student institutes. So do you believe there is a change in this in the mindset of students, and if yes, that online portals are helping you? So just explain, give me some more insights about that.
You see, you have raised a very pertinent question.
Mm-hmm.
In the past 4 or 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
credibility of the business ranking magazines or platforms, they have gone very down. There are reasons which are known to you also, to me also. Now it has become more a business than the reality. You people are doing better jobs because at least you try to peep into each and every aspect very honestly and intelligently. And that you bring on the floor for the benefit of the students, for the guardians, for the market. Now, in the past 5-6 years, the wave of accreditation by the approved accreditation agencies like NBA or NAC, it has superseded this craze. Right? Now the colleges, the students, the guardians, they first ask for the NAC ranking, NAC grading, then the Business India ranking. Okay?
True.
So that's why in 2016 itself, when we already received 1 to 50 position by the Business India, we became inclined towards having the NAC accreditation. And I started the job business with my faculty team. And in 2017, I applied and got A grade. And this is the only A grade institution in this part of the state and the country. So now grading and the accreditation has become more important because the guardians and the students, they are also looking after it. They try to have all relevant and honest information through digital mode also, through direct interview also, through contact with the alumni also, the faculty members also. So that's why they have started believing on the right information which they used to get through these sources.
True, sir.
And this should be encouraged also. It is the right practice. And again, I would like to thank your platform also on this count. Okay?
Welcome, sir. Welcome. So what would you like people to know about your institute which they may not know?
You see, although we try our level best to make all the developments, all the programs public through the media, through write-ups, publications, and so on. But then there are certain things, suppose that the value system, the Indian wisdom portion, we have started more and more attraction from various corners in education system also. We have been a pioneer in this field. And this is justified by our works that every year we used to organize a massive international and global conference. If you come here, you will see the gathering and the level of the gathering. And then through our globally indexed journal Purushartha, which is Scopus indexed, there we used to share our thoughts that how this wisdom, suppose this leadership by Indian ethos, it is our invention, our creation. Conservatism versus adventurism. It is our, given module. So these things we try to inculcate in our syllabus also. And through our PGTM program, where we have got full autonomy of designing the curriculum, we used to share it with the students. So this I would like the market, the students, the coming students to know that SMS has been a leader in re-establishing the lost image of this Indian wisdom, Oriental wisdom, and bringing it to the mainstream management literature globally. At the same time, for the research purposes of the students as well, faculty as well, we are going to have a research center very soon. We have already applied to the concerned universities, and we are hopeful of getting it in this very session. So there will be a research center also. We shall be providing the research and publications jobs, and the PhD activities will be multiplied after that.
So very nice, and we wish you all the best for getting the research institute approved. Sir, next question: what do you see as SMS Varanasi's greatest strength? Greatest strength.
What is
SMS Varanasi's greatest strength?
To your strength, I think I have already told you that the ebullient team of our teachers, our faculty, our staff, because I have not seen any responsibility which I have taken up, even if it is very, very hard and the time is very, very less, I have been able to perform it in the best possible way. And that is by virtue of the ebullience of the faculty and the team and the staff. At the same time, I have also told you that our USP is that our strong moorings in the Indian ethics, value system, and spirituality. So this is the basic USP of the institution, and I think for the coming decades, it will be on top priority.
So, coming to the next question, what are some of the biggest challenges you see both for higher education in general and for SMS Varanasi specifically?
You see, SMS Varanasi is also a part and parcel of the higher education system in the country. And the lackluster quality of the education in our country, I think you are also knowing. There has been a lingering turmoil in our higher education system. We don't have any dearth of the institution. We have got 23 IITs, 20 IIMs, 31 NITs, 49 central universities, and more than 38,000 colleges. But when it comes to global ranking, last year you have seen that the Times Higher Education World University Ranking, its result was out, and from 250 to 300 bracket, we were shifted even further beyond 300 bracket. Our only representative, IISc Bangalore. So this is the situation, because we have not been able to understand the importance of quality education in nation building. We have utterly failed in making a focused and sustained investment in our education. You see, very, very poor percentage of our GDP is being diverted towards education. At the same time, we used to see the higher education with the lens of patronage. Today, very recently, one article was published by a very senior professor who was also the Vice Chancellor, that today 70% of the Vice Chancellors, they are unfit for the position they hold. This is because the governance of Government of India or any government has been looking at the education through the lens of patronage. This is the reason. So this we shall have to do away. And only then we can expect of a quality education, quality research, and quality income from the industry, which are three lacking points in the world university ranking that we have received.
Exactly, sir.
Right?
You have a very insightful thing, and I believe that yes, there is the education industry has become a fish market. It's a very a small word to describe it, but yes, it has become a fish market, and people are here mostly here for they are not educational. They are here for
even worse than the fish market. Even worse than the fish market.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, sir. So, sir, any suggestions you would like to give to the current youth and the aspiring students?
To see, to the students, I will only say that they try to gather correct information about the best college really and best course really.
Mm-hmm.
They must not hanker after unwanted courses which they do not like, for which they do not have any aptitude.
Mm-hmm.
Let their own temperament, aptitude prevail in selection of the course. And then, so far as any college is concerned, I will advise them that visit your site, your platform, collegedunia.com,
Mm-hmm.
because it is giving you the bulk of information, and I think very right information.
Mm-hmm.
I expect so.
Yes, sir. Sir, you were selected as one among 100 most influential directors of India, and I know why they have selected you. You're such a good speaker, sir. And 100 most influential directors of India by World Education Congress. Explain your journey to receive such an honor.
Of course, you see, throughout my career, I have stayed in private sector only. You see,
Mm-hmm.
I have never gone to the government sector. Any government university I could not join because I don't have the Pairvi or Paisa. Right?
True.
So with my only ability in the education, with my degree, because I have been a D.Litt in the management, a very rare degree. Because of my passion in teaching, learning,
Mm-hmm.
and education. And on the basis of this, being a member of the private institution, I was called by the NAC authorities also. And, I'm a member of the NAC.
Yes, sir.
Mostly, you see the NAC expert member, the assessor, used to be members of the government-run organizations and institutions and universities.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think then being the editor-in-chief of 4 journals, SMS is the only institution which in this part of the country has been publishing 4 journals, not 1, 2, or 3. It is a rare achievement.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally, being the leader of this kind of institution would be a matter of attraction for other agencies also. They would have liked my work.
Mm-hmm.
They would have selected me.
That's right, sir. Sir, one more question, and that will be the last question. Sir, do you believe portals like College Dunia are actually helping the institutes in getting the admissions and application and giving you the right student and giving the information and giving the right information to the students so that they can help? Are we helping them in decision making? Do you believe such?
You see, the answer, I think you people could understand better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the time has come that no institution, no platform, no organization can cheat a modern day student so many times.
Right.
Persons have become so smart that they try to get correct information by this way or that way. So if College Dunia would remain sincere, honest, it would naturally and undoubtedly rise and I wish the best of luck for this college, dunia.com, and wish it all the best. Okay, I'm thankful to you,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
and I would like that you come to our campus also sometimes, and the situation is quite normal. Okay,
Sure, sir.
and we shall be talking more and more.
Thank you.
Anything
so
more, sir?
Thank you so much, sir. It was a nice talking to you.